Hello, my name is Linda Udischas, and I'm coming to you from right outside the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, to bring you today's wow moment. I just start out with a question. How many of you have ever had a promotion? Or how many of you would like a promotion? The truth is that people like promotion. We love to be recognized and rewarded for our hard work. But we also know that sometimes with a new promotion also comes new challenges. So are you ready for the challenges as well as the rewards? Now, I ask you these questions because the other day, as I was in my prayer time, the Lord clearly spoke to me and said, I am about to take many in the body of Christ to a new level. Now, that can mean different things to different people, of course. But the point is that He sees where you've been and He knows where you're going. Now, when I think about God taking us to new levels, I think of two things. First, I think back to about 12 years ago when a friend of mine was given a prophetic word that God was getting ready to take her to a new level. Her immediate response was, "No way, I am not going. I have heard Joyce Meyer preach about new levels, new devils, and I'm fine right where I'm at." Now, granted, she had just gone through probably one of the most difficult times in her life, and she was rightfully apprehensive about possibly being thrown into another battle. But I believe that she really missed out on some great opportunities with God at the time. She, instead of resisting the devil, she was actually resisting God. And she allowed fear to paralyze her. Don't allow fear to paralyze you. Don't allow fear to hold you back from what God has for you. God says in His word time and time again, do not fear. He says, I am with you. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. He says that His grace is sufficient for us and that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. He says He has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So don't be fearful. Don't allow the enemy to paralyze you from what God has in your life. The other thing that I think about when I think about new levels is I think about a race. Now, I love to watch the Olympics and especially the track and field events. Now, what we don't see are all the previous races, all of the years of hard work, all of the training and the discipline that each runner goes through in the hopes of one day advancing to the place where they have a chance to win that Olympic gold medal. Now, Paul often refers to this life as a race. In Hebrews 12, he tells us to lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him, I believe that was us, endured the cross, despising the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. For consider him who endured such hostility from sinners against himself, lest you become weary and discouraged in your souls. We are to lay aside every weight and sin. Have you ever noticed that runners wear the least and the lightest amount of clothing and running shoes available to them? They do this because they don't want any extra weight to hold them back or slow them down. So, what weights do we carry? What's holding us back? What's weighing us down? Is it the cares of the world? Is it worrying? Is there strife, anger, or bitterness? Paul says to lay it all aside. We are to run with endurance, looking unto Jesus. Have you ever noticed how these runners have their eyes fixed on their finish line? They're not looking around to the left or to the right, up and down, all around. Their heads are straight and stiff, immovable, because they have to keep an eye on their path. They can't come away from their path. They can't get distracted. They have to stay within their lines. They have to know where their finish line is. So what kind of things could be distracting us? What snares have been placed around us to trip us up, to take us off course, to bring us down? We need to be aware of these distractions and these snares, and we need to be focused on the finish line. We need to keep our eyes fixed on Jesus. Sometimes our lives can look more like an obstacle course because every day we do face hurdles and obstacles. But we have to remember that God's grace will carry us over every single one. He will carry us through every single one to the end. So I would like to admonish you to not grow weary in doing good. For in due season you will reap if you do not lose heart. Keep your eyes on the finish line. Don't get distracted, knowing your reward is ahead. Knowing that you will hear, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in little, and I will make you ruler over much." In other words, well done. You have ran this race well. You followed my path. You didn't get distracted. You kept your eyes on the mark. On to the next level. Remember, He sees where you've been, and He knows where you're going. He's a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. I pray that the Lord will continue to guide you, give you wisdom, strengthen you, and encourage you as He takes you to the next level in Him. God bless you.